The S1 Pro knee pad is built to last and perform, blending highly durable fabrics and materials into an innovative design with exceptional craftsmanship. We use a very tough, military-grade ballistic nylon for the outer shell material. We triple-stitched every seam to prevent blowouts and reinforced all of the straps with additional stitching. Our top straps are made with a high-retention elastic that minimizes excessive stretching and incorporates a length adjustment system to allow you to lengthen or shorten the top strap. The inner knee cut mold is streamlined and deep-fitting and features a 4-tiered foam system combining varying densities of foam with shock-dispersing foam to achieve both shock reduction and comfort on impact. The inner foam layer is a high-rebound memory foam.
Good afternoon and welcome to LRD TV. Got to say it for the first time. You're here with us today to watch two fantastic games of roller derby. My name's Dan Gooditz.
And I'm Spitting Bars.
And we'll be with you for this first game, which sees Newcastle roller derby's Canny Belters taking on London roller derby's Brawl Saints. And you can hear Brawl Saints just in the background cheering off as they're going along. Thanks so much for joining us. We're going to be bringing you the action over the next couple of hours. Shall we start by going through the rosters? Is that a good place to start?
Yeah, it's a good place to start. Do you want to work through Canny Belters?
Absolutely. So, on Canny Belters, Julia, the Rottweiler, great name, but my favourite one on their roster, I have to say, Hit One, Pearl One,
yes.
Choice, outstanding work. Lucy, Eradicate, Charlotta Payne, Darcy Tussle, Joe Berserk, Spangled Shred, and Pretty Skate Machine.
And for London Brawl Saints, we've got Dusty, Amazing Disgrace, Bothwell, Nina, Diarrhea, Struggle, Alley Cat, Harm Assist, Thrill House, Wu-Tang Jan, Rogue Fun, Canalator, Peter Parker, Brute, and UK Daddy Bod. And we are about to kick off.
Yeah, there's that first whistle. Everyone getting ready on the line. We'll talk a little bit more in between the jams about what brought us here and what we might be expecting to see. But here we go, getting ready for our first jam.
So it looks like we have Lucy on the jam line there for Canny Belters with Dusty for Brawl Saints. Two strong teams who haven't met in a while, I believe.
Yeah, that's right. Last time these teams met was actually in 2016, so really you can't read anything into that, right? It was the before times.
Absolutely not. We're off. As you see Lucy trying to get that inside line, but the lead goes to Dusty, Alan Brawl Saints. With the helmet cover off and going back on, Lucy is out and Dusty is in scoring points. And the jam is called.
And there you go, kind of what you expected to see there. We'll wait for the scores to go up on the board, but it looked like a 4-0 to me. Yep, the scores have gone up there. And, you know, it'll be interesting to see. One of the things that tells you a little bit about how a game's flowing, you know, how it's going is, are you seeing 4-0s? Are you seeing 0-0s, you know, 1-0s? Or are you seeing those multi-pass jams coming in? Both these teams very well matched according to flat track stats in advance. We're expecting this to be a very close game, 8-9 ratio, which is virtually no differential whatsoever. So I'm expecting to see nice, snipey 0-4 close play throughout.
Absolutely. Short jams, incremental wins. And we've got a lead there for Canalator and Brawl Saints. And we can see Canny Belters fighting to get out there. And some offense there from Bothwell. And a call just to jump to the inside line.
Referee is showing 3 points on the end of that one, so another small scores, small incremental going. Also, I think one of these things you've got to recognise when you're playing this kind of game, one of the teams I used to work with used to say, you know, the first few jams don't count. Now that made me real angry because they do count towards
really
scores.
Count.
But what I do appreciate from that is that, you know, this idea of you've got to warm up, you've got to get to know the other team, you've got to find your feet on the day.
And there's plenty of time for things to change as well, right?
Oh,
We've got a 7-0 score at the start here at the moment, but that anyone's game still. And as I say that is Lucy out for lead jammer. Helmet cover is off for Peter Parker, working away at the front there against a strong 3-wall, which Diarrhea is attempting to break up. And looks like we have a penalty there for Alley Cat. As Lucy comes around for a scoring pass and looking for a space on the outside, which Brute denies. And she gets out.
Yeah, Lucy had to fight really hard for that one. A lot of physicality throwing in, just as you see there, London getting their jam round.
Yeah, and it looks like we've got a one apiece in the penalty box as the jam is called by Lucy.
And just as I'm saying, she had to work really hard for those previous ones. She comes straight back through and picks up the second pass there. So
Slides past.
just slides on through. So I'm thinking that's 8.
And as we were saying, it's anyone's game. There is a lead change. We are now at 8-7 as we go into jam 4.
That's right, and really at the moment, as you say, anyone's game. Hard to predict how things are going, but you know what? If it keeps going like this, I'm going to have a good time.
Me too, me too. And for anyone who's joining us who hasn't watched roller derby before, it's probably useful to say that the jammer, who is the person with the star on their helmet, gets to score a point for every blocker that they pass on the opposition team. So there we can see we've got a lead jammer called for Canny Belters, as Wu is out for London, and it's a call off there by Canny Belters.
And
Rottweiler was that?
I think you're right, yes, and that also even
Rottweiler.
Of course it's a wheeler. Of course it's Rottweiler. And that means we're now even on lead jam calls as well. So it's close in the scores, but also close in terms of who's had control over the flow of the game. 12 plays 7. You're watching LRD TV, and we've got Newcastle Canny Belters playing against London Brawl sets.
On that jam line, we see a Dusty Lucy matchup once again, as Lucy has got the lead. Canny Belters. And Dusty's working away through that very dense white wall of Canny Belters blockers there. Solid tripod. And a strong knockout by London, recycling Lucy back to the back of the pack. And is Lucy able to get out on that inside line? She is, and calls it off.
Just looking over the referee's hand, that's 4 more points. 4 more points going up there for Newcastle. We talked about beforehand, these teams haven't met since 2016, so it really is a bit of an unknown quantity. But if you look at the predictions, both in terms of the WFTDA predictor, but also the Flat Track Stats predictor, these two teams coming out incredibly closely matched. No confidence really either way of a winner, and that's exactly what we're seeing playing out in the first 5 minutes of the game.
Yeah, exactly. So we have Canalator up against Spangled on the jam line there. And Canalator is out your lead jammer. The helmet cover has come off for Canny Belters there. Attempting to make that star pass. We have a scoring pass there for Canalator. If you blink, you'll miss it. She's super fast. And there is Spangled working hard on that front against that tripod of Bothwell, Disgrace and Harm Assist.
That leaping attempt on the inside, not quite rewarded, but I mean, you've got to admire the bravery that says I'm going to take that opportunity and see what I can do.
Absolutely, and we had a knockout there of Canalator on the right hand side, but unfortunately it has sent that skater to the box. That might be Cat. Coming round for another scoring pass there by London, as we see Spangled still fighting out against that tripod at the back. A knockout there by Disgrace. Recycle.
Yeah, I had to stand up and look there because I wasn't sure where Spangled was in the midst of it, and I wondered if there'd been a penalty, but actually just some incredible defensive play from London, locking down all the lanes they needed and giving the jammer all the time in the world to rack up the score, which means I think, yep, we've had another lead change. Brawl Saints 18, Canny Belters 16 now.
Yeah, that was a whopping 11-point jam there for Canalator.
Huge. And especially in a game that we're predicting is going to be this close, if you can get those multi-pointers in, they're going to make all the difference in the long run. They're what's going to win the game ultimately.
Yeah, so this jam starts with 4 apiece. That's no one in the penalty box. And we've got Vita Parker up against Lucy, who has been sent to the penalty box.
It was a forearms penalty being indicated there by head jam ref, so this gives 30 seconds now for Lund to get things done.
You can see some offense coming in there from Diarrhea.
Look at that tripod though, it's so solid.
So strong. Brute helping out, trying to break it apart. Oh, and we heard the audience, that big knockdown, big response from the audience there. And we have lead called for London, but that took 45 seconds, which is a pretty long time until we don't see any lead. And that means Lucy is now also back on track. And we have a cut.
Yes, just off your screen, sorry, just happening, a cut track penalty being called there on the London Jammer, so it's a switch up. It will now be a full 2-minute jam, and it's now the Canny Belters with the advantage.
So that's initial pass collected, and now Lucy is coming around to score some points. She's got 3 to beat there on track, with 1 sitting in the penalty box, and there's some offence support from her team.
Yeah, it certainly makes things easier when even the loss of 1 blocker at this level of play makes such a difference.
And coming down the outside line there, beautifully scoring all 4 of those points. You can see once again another swing around the outside line there from Lucy as Parker joins the track, and there's a solid tripod very much in her way. As we lose one of those Canny Belter blockers to the box for a direction penalty. That's number 9-1, British Skate Machine.
And that jam, of course, ran the full 2 minutes as both jammers ended up picking up penalties. We'll wait for any final points to be dropped off, but it looks like 15 scored by Newcastle on that one, 3 for the Brawl Saints, so that puts us at 21 Brawl Saints, 31 to the Canny Belters, and that jam, a really interesting switch up, looked like it was going in favour of an initial power jam for London, and then just Newcastle able to make the most of absolutely rinsing the power jam that they got the opportunity to run afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely. They were really stopping those balls from reforming. Now we see a lead called for London. Wu-Tang Jam closely. And just coming back round now for a scoring pass. All 4 points, and calls it off.
Lovely, but lovely timing as well on calling it like that. You know, every second in this game can count. In this instance, that's allowed them to freeze blockers in the box, so they'll start with an advantage at the beginning of this jam as well. And they're eking away at that lead with 4 more points coming on. 25 to Brawl Saints, 30, so there's 5 points in it to the Newcastle Canny Belters.
So we have just 2 Canny Belter blockers on track for this jam, and that is Cat and Drama Bomb. Standing there in a nice tidy wall of 2.
I'd be scared if it was me.
Yeah, can they hold Dusty? They're giving it a good go. But Dusty takes that inside line to get lead jammer. And we see Canny Belter's jammer pushing out the front against that dastardly tripod. So strong there. Ali, UK Daddy Bod, and Nina. And Spangled fighting there, but unfortunately gets a cut track and is heading to the box as Dusty comes round for a new scoring pass. And a low block there called on Cat.
Yeah, great angle for us on the camera there to see the low block as it went in, but sometimes you've got to take those opportunities where you can try and catch someone just on the way out. You've got to throw everything in.
Yeah, and some of the data we were looking at was that Newcastle have had a heavier penalty season than London, haven't they?
Yeah, that's right. Newcastle in their games this season, bear in mind this data is only from the 5 Nations games they've played, so it's not from the full range of games they've played, but Newcastle are averaging out about 36 penalties as a team across each game, whereas London have been able to keep it down to 26. I guess you can read that one 2 ways, right? Newcastle are used to playing with a slightly more penalty heavy, so maybe it won't have that impact, or maybe it'll be the difference. And we've seen a couple of times here where power jams in particular, where you've only got 3 blockers on, Newcastle were able to take big advantage. And as I'm speaking, London now taking the advantage and sprinting on through straight away for lead.
Yeah, starting there with that power jam. Canalator is out and coming round so fast for a scoring pass, and there was a beautiful surrounding offence there from the London 4 that are on track, with only 2 Canny Belter blockers. It's no surprise they're able to clear a beautiful line, and some contact there coming in from Canny Belters on this scoring pass, although they have run out of play and have to stop contacting the jammer. And there we saw the helmet cover come off from the jammer and get out of the track.
There we go. Some more penalty trouble coming in, but this time it's London that have, I think, a couple of blockers heading to the box. Maybe, sorry, my apologies, just one in this instance. As the final points get put off, and we go into team timeout called by Newcastle.
A little update on the scores for you there. We are at 44 for Brawl Saints and 31 for the Canny Belters after 11 points versus 1 jam there.
So we've got about 17 minutes left in the half, so we only have the very beginnings of this game so far. But so far it is sort of playing out kind of how we expected. Newcastle a bit more penalty heavy, but still able to maintain their scoreline as they go through. Real back and forth. We've had leads from both teams, and we've had an awful lot of times where the score has changed and swapped around. So if you're playing the Derby drinking game, we apologise to you and your neighbours. But so far, pretty much what we expected to see, including what we expect to see in terms of the Newcastle jammer rotation as well. These are jammers they've relied on all season, and we're seeing that maybe that reliability and confidence in that rotation coming in terms of the way they're playing, their ability to settle down.
Yeah, and we know that all the sort of where the leagues are placed at the moment has been all over the place since we've come back from lockdowns, and actually Newcastle going up into the same league, in the same tier as Brawl Saints for the coming season, right? Yeah,
that's right. Newcastle went on to not only win their own division, but the overall tier 2 to be promoted up into tier 1. For those of you maybe who are watching from overseas, that's part of the Five Nations Roller Derby tournament, which takes place across the Five Nations every year.
So we're getting ready there for our next jam. We have Lucy lining up against Wu-Tang Jam. Lucy's been caught at the front there by Ali Cat. And we see Wu is caught at the back. Ali Cat is... Oh, we've got Lucy out as lead jammer. And followed closely by Wu-Tang Jam, who is approaching, which forces the call off. And let's see how many points we got there. Waiting for the jammer ref to declare.
The jam ref having a bit of a chat with the OPR as well to make sure, yes, there you go, you can see on your screens now coming across showing the 2 points going up on there. Always something as a bench coach you like to see is a referee crew that are communicating and are relying on each other and trusting each other to make those judgment calls. It really shows a maturity and responsibility and experience level that you don't see in lower level crews. Of course, we've got an excellent crew here with us today.
Yeah, absolutely. And that 2 points puts Canny Belters on 34 and Brawl Saints on 44 at the beginning of this jam. We see Dusty up against the Rottweiler. We've got a lead jammer there for Dusty, who smashes through that Canny Belters wall. And I don't know if you heard the ooh from the audience, but it is a powerful hit that we just saw there.
And not the first of the day either. A lot of the jammers on both sides, it has to be said, are going in absolutely fearless and attacking the pack with everything they've got, which is exactly what you'd expect at this level of play. And you're seeing the payoff in terms of their ability to disrupt the walls. That said, the simple tripods we're seeing, which is mostly what we're seeing defensively, is simple tripods, are really getting the job done today. Really impressive play from both sides defensively.
Yeah, and that lane coverage has been superb as well. When you're in a tight tripod like that, being able to swing all the way from the inside line to the outside line, much like we're seeing the Brawl Saints wall do there, with Diarrhea getting a knockout there on Spangled on the inside line. And we've got that solid tripod there from Canny Belters, just behind Scrim Reaper, who you can see on your screen. We love our officials even when they're stood in front of the camera. And we're getting a run back there on Spangled. Almost Abby Bods. Run back, and the same for Brawl. Who have we got jamming there for Brawl Saints? Beta Parker?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it?
Yeah, I think so.
No, it's Canalator in the pink helmet. That's why we're struggling. So she has taken the helmet cover off, which you're allowed to do if you are not lead jammer. And this can help you with option to either go yourself or pass it, as she's chosen to do so to her pivot, who is now coming round and an attempt to score, but Spangled pulls off. stopping that opportunity.
Really great judgment there to take the star pass where you can and hand that over to Diarrhea, who then sprints out and gets it round. Really all you're looking for in those situations is just shut it down. Don't let them go 8-0 against me. Don't let them go 12-0 against me. Shut this down so that we know we're giving away 4 points. And in a game that is likely to be this close, and at the moment 48 plays, 37, so only 11 points in it, 3 passes, that's what we're looking at in the difference. I mean, every single point's going to count, and getting someone out as quickly as that is going to make a big difference.
Absolutely. So they hear the start whistle for this jam, and we've got Lucy up against Beta Parker this time. And Lucy is making her way out for lead jammer. And we see some offense there coming in from Bothwell and Harm Assist. But Canny Belters are having none of it and are staying solidly put in their lane. And Beta Parker's helmet cover is off and looking for that pass as Lucy comes round for another scoring pass. And Twinkle toes down the inside line, just around the back of that blocker. And we've seen a star pass there to number 1-2 Bothwell. And a penalty, forearms penalty for Lucy, which gives us a power jam opportunity for pivot turned jammer Bothwell.
So power jams when you've had a star pass, really interesting situation. You were saying just beforehand that Bothwell has been training as a jammer in practice?
Somewhat, yeah, I think so, a little bit this season. Mostly for moments like this, right? You want your pivots to be jamming as regularly as possible, so they're confident when they take that star and they can get their way out just like that. And the crowd is going wild in the house today because this is bringing the score back up for London Brawl Saints, which we've currently got a score of 52 to 45. Another scoring pass there for Bothwell brings the score up to 56 to 49. As Lucy is also back out and scoring. We see her whizzing round.
Sorry, we were just distracted because we're having to look behind us at the scoreboard as we go through, but that was a beautiful apex jump from Lucy.
It was
came round
so
as well.
fast. Unfortunately, having to be recycled back as that second attempt at apex jump was unsuccessful. Wow, what a jam.
Right? I mean, if you're a fan of a sport, this is what you're looking for. Star passes then turn to power jams, and then you've got apex jumps. We've got jammers coming in, as I say, throughout this game, on both sides, utterly fearless, throwing their bodies into everything they've got. Walls that are textbook in terms of the defence that's being thrown up, and really everyone showing their strength in this, both offensively and defensively, both teams and every single individual skater.
And we now just have a 7 points difference with Brawl Saints on 60 and Canny Belters on 53. And we're off for the next jam. And that is Canny Belters out for lead jammer. Wu Tang Jam following closely behind. And now, it's very much the racing part of roller derby here where we see, get around, get as many points as you can and call it off.
Sometimes, you watch a jammer tapping their hips to call it off, and there's a difference between I'm tapping my hips and I'm tapping my hips. And that was definitely the latter in that instance there, just to make sure that the call went in, because those individual moments can make a difference. It looks like, though, both jam refs displaying the fist of nothing, so 0-0 on that one. I was speaking to one of my jammers the other day, and they didn't realise it was also the goose of disappointment.
The goose of disappointment.
Which is the did not complete initial pass.
Now, next time you see us on screen, we'll show you what that means. But for now, we've got Dusty up against Spangled, and we've got both jammers caught in the grind there. Really looking, they're both trying to take that middle, and Dusty. Oh, who got lead? Let's see. I believe
London.
It is London. Dusty managed to inch out moments before Spangled came on that inside line, and it's called off neck and neck.
We talk about being close, we talk about being a great game to watch if you're a fan of the sport, and you are here today with us. We are in Tottenham Leisure Centre, and you are watching LRD TV for the first time on Twitch. We've got the Newcastle Canny Belters versus Brawl Saints. Brawl Saints in black, Canny Belters in white.
And on the jam line there, we have Lucy up against Struggle. Lucy is loving that inside line today, but is denied there by Ali, who, for her efforts, I think may have received a penalty there, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But that gave Ali just enough time to get out and round
And that was a lovely hit. I'm just waiting to see the fingers going up. It was 2 and 2. So she did pass the hips. Sorry, they did pass the hips on that pass going through. So 2 and 2. No change in the differential on that one. We now have only 9 minutes just about to go in the first half. 62 plays 55. And this is the humdinger we thought it would be.
Yeah, 7 points in it. It's a close one. That's a single jam very easily. So up on the jam line there, we have Rottweiler against Peter Parker. Rottweiler is out and lead jammer. And we see Peter Parker trying to make her way up the outside line as Rottweiler comes back. Unfortunately, London were not in a wall, and Rottweiler has made it through fairly little effort.
Yeah, we had just before this game took place, obviously there was the boot camp that was running, and the theme of that was offense. And actually, we've seen some great examples straight on the track of that offense being put into play. You know, you look at the way the game is nowadays compared to how it was, say, let's say, 6-7 years ago. You got out a couple of years for COVID, obviously, but 6-7 years ago, offense was more of a nice to have than a need to have. These days, defensively, the blockers have got so much of it locked down now. You've really got to be on it with your offense, or else you're never going to get anywhere.
It's a lonely world out there as a jammer trying to move that wall on your own, and like your offensive players are absolute gold when it comes to helping you make those gaps. And we're seeing out there now, we've got Canny Belters just called for lead. Has Hester Wu, big hit there against that blocker, and is following behind. And we see another twinkle down that inside line from Canny Belters. They're really favouring that inside line on that straightaway, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely. There seems to be a bit of a pattern to them getting through. That was Spangled up once again. Statistically speaking, Spangled and Lucy were the two jammers that over the course of this last Five Nations tournament have done the best most consistently for Newcastle. So not a surprise that seems to be playing out again here today with them putting up the most points as they come around. But also both of them notably very clean skaters, averaging 2 or less penalties per game. And again, that's what we're seeing so far.
And we are having a slight deficit start there for London, but that doesn't stop Dusty getting lead, and Lucy following closely behind on that inside line again. And we're getting Dusty coming in nice and closely there and calling the jam off.
Again, the call goes in, it's 2 and 2, so that one, no change on the differential on that particular one. Dusty showing a little bit of frustration at the call as it goes along.
But we have got a change on the score.
We have got a change on the scores from the previous jam. We're up to 65 plays 64, a 1 point differential, and not that long left on the half to run either.
No, so we have Rottweiler up against Struggle there. Struggle is out for lead almost immediately, and Rottweiler is getting recycled back to the back of the pack as Struggle comes round for a scoring pass. And that beautiful offense we were talking about there from Diarrhea, just smashing that wall apart and giving Struggle space to take through. And that was a beautiful big hit from Cat, but unfortunately was in a non-derby direction, so it is sending them to the box. We Struggle come through on one leg there, very impressive skate skills. Balance is such an important skill for roller derby, and it really shows there when you've got someone coming through on that single leg glide.
I mean, I don't know, watching that from where I was sitting just there, it looked like London were on fire, like they really came alive. There was extra energy in the way they were moving, there was extra determination and urgency to everything they were doing. That was really lovely to see, suddenly this pickup, and, as you were describing, that inside line getting shut down this time.
Absolutely, they're probably clocking onto that, and they can't even hear us.
No, they can't. We should make that clear. We're not giving tips to anyone inside. But London, of course, known through all of their different teams as being a team that adapts and learns on the fly very, very well. And we're seeing that in action here today.
Absolutely. But unfortunately, they didn't quite have that inside line locked down, but there were only 3 of them on the track. And we've got Hester Wu one-on-one at the front there as we see that Spangled coming round for a score pass and calling it off. Very much denied those extra points there by that London tripod.
Yeah, I imagine now both teams now trying to hopefully get back settled. We've had quite a few jams that have been 2-2, 0-0, 2-2 as we're going around. So both teams want to now settle in maybe to more of a rhythm. They'll be looking to do that as they come up into half time so they can take that momentum with them into the second half as they're going along. But it looks like Lucy lining up for the Canny Belters and Parker this time for London.
Yeah, and as we start this jam, we are on 67 points to 71, so just 4 points in it, keeping it close. And we have Lucy out and coming round on a scoring pass, but is knocked out on that outside line, drawn back by Daddy God. And we've got a really strong tripod there. Haven't been able to just about hold her, but they're reforming at the front. We've seen a star pass to Diarrhea, 2-2-2-2 there. Very apt number for a very great name. And we saw a big hit on that inside line on Lucy as she pulls it off.
And exactly the spirit of Derby there, a big hit and then a high five. That's how that goes.
Oh yeah, we always hit with love.
Yeah, right, that's it. So it's just my love language. This one absolutely going down as a zinger, 71-72. 1 point again in it with lead changes galore going back and forth, and just 3 minutes showing on the clock for the first half.
So we have Rottweiler up against Dusty on the start line there. Dusty doing some jammer blocking on that start line. But it doesn't stop Rottweiler getting to the front of the pack. But Dusty is out on that inside line and got lead jammer. Helmet cover came off there with Rottweiler for a moment in order to help him get out. And Dusty's coming back for a scoring pass and calls the jam.
So that's an interesting question. So from a non-skater to a skater, that moment where a jammer takes the cover off, not to pass, but just to try and confuse, what are your take on that? Do you think that that's something that does make a difference to you if you're blocking?
Absolutely, it splits your attention. Like you've got to continue to block the jammer because defence first always, but someone has to be then thinking where is the pivot and are they going to take it? So it's an immediate splitting of your attention at least, and I think it really helps to divert. Yeah. So as that jam starts, we see Canny Belters out very quickly again there. I think it's Spangled, yeah, for Canny Belters. Trying to take that outside line, denied again by Daddy Bod, who has got that outside line shut down. No wonder they're trying to take that inside line, right?
Daddy Bod, a recent change of name, and I haven't had a chance to speak to them yet, but in my head, I'm pronouncing it, UK Daddy Bod? There is a question mark at the end of it, and I want to know. So I might have a conversation with them in half time.
Yeah.
I'm getting that right.
Absolutely. Lining up for the next jam start, we have Wu-Tang Jam up against Lucy. Slight deficit start there for London and a full 4. It's a beautiful offense on the outside line there. And we'll see lead jammer called for Lucy. Recaptured at the front of the pack there briefly by Thrill House. And Wu-Tang Jam working really hard to get out quickly as well. Hester Wu very rarely gets stuck, even if not lead, there is a very short amount of time when we see them getting out after the lead jam is called. Lucy has just scooted round and little beamed it there, has got them out really fast. These walls aren't really containing these jammers. A little attempt at an apex jump there from Wu. And Lucy trying to take that outside line, which is not a favoured line we've learned for Lucy. And we've got both jammers in the pack now being contained. Those walls seem to have kind of reformed and are doing a much better job at shutting down, but Hester gets out there on the outside line. And Lucy, who is in control of the jam, pulls it.
Yeah, really interesting set of decisions there from Newcastle's bench. They were indicating keep running, which may well indicate obviously they just want to get to the half and get it done because we are that close now. In fact, the whistle's being blown for the half as an official review gets brought in and used as a timeout. That may or may not have stopped the clock before, but we'll see. We'll wait and see what comes up on that one. But yeah, running that clock down maybe you've got that confidence. You know, you put Lucy out, you've got some real confidence there in their ability to jam. You've got Wu-Tang, maybe you haven't seen jamming as much this season, so maybe it's an attempt to run the points up, or maybe it's just as simple as we're knackered, we just want to get to that half time.
Yeah, and actually what that did give the Canny Belters was a 4-point advantage, which means we've seen another lead change at 84 points for Canny Belters and 82 points for London Brawling. What a first half.
I mean, incredible first half. It does look like there is an official review going on in the middle, so it looks like it is a legit official review, and they're having a conversation. I'm pretty sure we'll hear about the results of that when we come back after the half time. But thank you so much for being with us for the first half. This is London Roller Derby TV. You've been watching Newcastle Canny Belters versus Brawl Saints, and we will be back with you in about 10 minutes.
The S1 Pro knee pad is built to last and perform, blending highly durable fabrics and materials into an innovative design with exceptional craftsmanship. We use a very tough, military-grade ballistic nylon for the outer shell material. We triple stitched every seam to prevent blowouts and reinforced all of the straps with additional stitching. Our top straps are made with a high retention elastic that minimizes excessive stretching and incorporates a length adjustment system to allow you to lengthen or shorten the top strap. The inner knee cup mold is streamlined and deep fitting and features a 4-tiered foam system combining varying densities of foam with shock dispersing foam to achieve both shock reduction and comfort on impact. The inner foam layer is a high rebound memory foam which absorbs shock and molds to your knee on impact, stabilizing the knee, helping to prevent slippage. Our kneecap has a flat surface that supports stability on impact and is made with a high abrasion polycarbonate plastic for durability. The S1 Pro knee pad: stability, durability, functionality.
This is the totally redesigned Lifer Visor helmet from S1. Featuring our patented fusion foam, this helmet has the impact protection you've come to expect from an S1 helmet and is both multiple impact and high impact certified. Our new custom visor is made with a high impact polycarbonate lens, which is optically correct and features our patented cover catcher, which allows for multiple covers to be worn with easy on-off. The outside lens has an anti-scratch coating, while the inside has an anti-fog coating. The outer shell is equipped with in-mold mounting hardware, so that the visor can be removed and replaced if needed. The S1 Lifer Visor Helmet, where innovation and function are actualized.
The S1 Pro knee pad is built to last and perform, blending highly durable fabrics and materials into an innovative design with exceptional craftsmanship. We use a very tough, military-grade ballistic nylon for the outer shell material. We triple-stitched every seam to prevent blowouts and reinforced all of the straps with additional stitching. Our top straps are made with a high-retention elastic that minimizes excessive stretching and incorporates a length adjustment system to allow you to lengthen or shorten the top strap. The inner knee cup mold is streamlined and deep-fitting and features a 4-tiered foam system combining varying densities of foam with shock-dispersing foam to achieve both shock reduction and comfort on impact. The inner foam layer is a high-rebound membrane.
Hello and welcome back. We are in the glorious home of all that is London roller derby, Tottenham Leisure Centre, here today, and we are watching our first game, which has been so far London Brawling versus Newcastle Canny Belters. One word, go. What would you describe the game so far? One word.
Nail-biting.
What a great word, yes. So it has been absolutely nail-biting. We knew coming into this game it was predicted to be a 1-to-1 ratio. It was really close, and that's exactly what we've seen playing out. We've had back and forth lead changes, we've had power jams to both sides, we've had penalty problems and moments on both sides. It's been really closely matched.
Yeah, and those leads are getting caught pretty quickly every time, actually. We're seeing those jammers getting out. There's very rarely a grind in this. It's actually like it's fastest jammer first, isn't
Absolutely.
it?
And also, interestingly, we've seen that grind, but sometimes when the jammers go through, it's on their knees almost. They're flying forwards just in the effort.
Absolutely, that real punch through, which Dusty, who is just about out but did not get the lead. That is Lucy who got the lead there on that inside line, which we've seen Lucy favouring all games so far. And that is a chase down and a call off before hitting the pack.
You guys couldn't see on your screens because we were quite rightly following the pack and the action in the pack, but that was a straight up sprint race around the outside, and you could see the determination on both jammers' faces. They both wanted to win that one.
And that leaves us with a 0-0, and at the beginning of this half we are starting with scores in favour of Canny Belters on 84 and London Brawl Saints on 82.
Just the 2 points in it.
We're lining up now for Jam 2 of our second half, and we have Canalator there against Spangled, who is charging forward at the front with one to beat, and that is Alley Cat, who has kept Spangled in play, but not for long enough. Spangled is out, and this lead jammer. And Canalator takes the helmet cover off and scoots all the way down that outside line on turn 1. You see Spangled back in the pack, getting as many points as they can before calling it off.
It looks like 2 fingers going up in the air, or maybe 3.
Oh, I think we've got 3, yeah.
There's 2 on the board. They might need to clarify that if it is 3. Either way, just a couple of points being put up there, but it does extend the Canny Belters lead. At the moment, the board is showing 86 to 82, so a 4-point, 1-pass differential at the moment, with just a couple of jams in, and both teams look like they've come out of the half absolutely fired up.
Here for Jam 3 we have a struggle against Rottweiler, both moving their feet so fast, but it is Rottweiler on that inside line who doesn't get lead and is called for a cut track, I believe, as Struggle is being recycled. Struggle has taken their helmet cover off, so is not eligible for lead, but is out now to score points.
That means this will go the full 2 minutes across as well.
It certainly does. So in order to be scored as lead jammer, you have to be wearing a star on your helmet as you exit the engagement zone. And Struggle is coming back in for a second scoring pass now. And it's one-on-one there against number 11, Helen Drew. And being recycled back by Julia, is that?
I think it's Hit One Pearl One.
Hit One Pearl One. Number 27. Once again being captured there by Hit One Pearl One at the front, and we see that we have got Rottweiler back on the track, but of course no one can call it because we don't have a lead jammer for this jam. It's going to go for the full 2 minutes.
43 seconds left on the jam now.
And we've got Rottweiler there in the pack being held there by Thrill House and Amazing Disgrace, and that 2-all at the front. And they're attempting to take that outside line, but being pushed out there by Thrill House, who is going to recycle them back.
see with these longer jams, when skaters get a sense it's going the full two, you see jammers move slightly more into energy preservation mode. They're looking for opportunities and they're really looking for help from their offense in those moments, but it can be difficult when the derby's that slow.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things you see as well is people trying to not get those penalties, being really sensible and taking those inside steps where they can, so they're not getting recycled back, which is what we saw Struggle doing there in that last pass.
So overall that came out to the advantage of Brawl Saints, 8-4 on that jam. Oh no, sorry, some last minute points being dropped off, 11-4 on that jam. We did for just a second have a tied game there, but now Brawl Saints pull ahead 93-90, and there is 26 minutes-ish showing on the period clock still to play.
And the Brawl Saints wall there is starting with just 3 blockers, but that is no trouble for Diarrhea, holding Spangled on Lucy on the outside line. And we've got Dusty as lead at the front, but it's been called for a cut track. But was lead called for Dusty?
No,
it was not. The penalty was issued before the lead was called, but we've still got Lucy stuck behind that London wall with some offence coming in there from her team, and she is finally out and called lead jammer. We have just 2 Canny Belters, skaters, blockers on track. Is number 91, Pretty Skate Machine, and 000, Drama Bomb.
So Lucy there, as they took that jump through the inside, looks across to their bench and says, did I stay in? Was I still in? And they very wisely urge that they go back and do the pass again just to be safe. You don't want to get a cut penalty. Yeah,
it's better to take the time to come back in and re-recycled than to risk the penalty and spend 30 seconds sitting in the box.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, we've got Dusty back on track now, who is designated not lead jammer by that lovely swinging of the arms of the jammer, and that forces the call off.
Newcastle scoreboard currently showing just 4 points, so 1 pass ahead up on that one. That puts them, though, on 94 points to London Brawl Saints 93, a 1 point difference and a change in lead.
But what an impressively low score there from the London blockers to keep that score down to just 4 when the jammers gone to the penalty box, and they were in control of the Canny Belters were in control of the jam.
Yeah, very early in this game we did see a power jam going against London, and they did struggle to control. Actually, it was Lucy, I believe, on that jam earlier. This time round, a much tighter job. They hold it to 4. I think that's excellent work.
Yeah, and it's what you say, that it's about adapting to the gameplay, right? And they're starting to maybe learn Lucy's style and to be able to hold Lucy on those lines a bit more. We have actually got a penalty there issued to Canalator, and therefore we're seeing Lucy coming back out of the box and scoring. Canalator is coming round for a scoring pass as well, which forces Lucy to ball it off.
And lovely defensive work from London there, even though they were separated. It looked like each one was lining up like the bad guys in an old movie where they line up for the fight, and it's like, oh, I'll go next, oh, I'll go next, oh, I'll go next. Bang, 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 those heavy contacts coming in, and that's going to wear each other down.
Absolutely, yeah. And you know, the ideal kind of formation is to be in one of those tripods or to be in some kind of configuration, maybe a 2-wall, but actually you work on your one-on-one jammer skills as substantially as possible, because there will be moments where it is just you one-on-one against the jammer, and that really shows in moments like that.
So we have our official review having been called, I think, by the London bench. I'm just trying to see where it's being indicated, but that gives us an opportunity to fill you in on the official review that went in after the final whistle on the first half. The Canny Belters were looking for a forearms penalty to be called against the London jammer. The referees, after discussion, decided that there was no penalty to serve. It felt to me, as a bench coach, it felt to me like one of those, oh well, you know what, I've got an official review, it's the end of the half, let's give it a go, and no harm in that whatsoever.
Yes, for those who don't know, you get an official review per half, and you lose it if you don't use it. So a lot of the time teams will opt to use it either in that last jam or maybe one before. Sometimes there's maybe a break if it's a really high intensity game or you're playing with short numbers perhaps.
And it's maybe worth talking about whilst we've got a little bit of time. The fact that this game is so close so far means that it may come down to benches and or other alternates managing the clock. So that's where you're going to use your timeouts, you're going to use your official reviews as timeouts to stop the clock. When you call one of those, it stops running, and you get that time to keep going, or indeed letting it run for as long as possible if you've got a lead and you're trying to defend it. It's a skill that a lot of benches cultivate, and we'll see if it actually comes into play later on. Usually when it's a closer game, you'll be looking at that kind of thing coming into play. For now though, this early, I would be surprised if we saw any real clock management with the scores as close as they are. We're just looking to see how long's left on the period clock now. You'll see, as you look on the screen, we have to stretch behind us to have a quick look. So excuse me one moment, you can have a look at my back for a second. Oh no, there you go, I've gone. 23 minutes left, 23 minutes left to go.
And we've got a lineup on the jam line there now. It looks like that official review is over, and we are seeing...
Well, I'm not seeing any significant changes with anyone in the box, so I'm going to guess the official review was not retained.
And we've got Spangled up against Struggle on that jam line there. Struggle trying to take the inside line, Spangled trying to take the outside. Both opting for the middle, but it is Struggle out with a beam dip on the outside line. And they are coming round so fast as Spangled is really stuck inside that tripod there. We've got UK Dad Bod,
UK Dad Bod,
Brute and Diarrhea really locking down Spangled.
If you allow me a very quick moment of indulgence, all three blockers you named there, blockers that I coached whilst I was at LRR when they were at LRR.
They
very
are
proud.
previous LRR skaters.
Proud coach moment.
And that probably shows actually their history of skating together. They are a very practiced wall together, and you know that lockdown was superb.
It really was, and we talked earlier on about the defences of both sides having been really exceptional this game, and I think that remains the case. We're seeing them in different configurations, we're seeing them in different situations, and they're still able to adapt, adopt and improve, constantly coming back and adapting to what these jammers are throwing at them, which has meant that we've been able to stay as close as we are. And when I say close, 97 points to London Brawl Saints and 97 points to Newcastle Canny Belters. A tie game so far, and we've still got over 20 minutes left to play.
And actually there was a beautiful moment of waiting there from those jammers. We saw Rottweiler go in as quickly as possible, but actually Wu-Tang Jam taking a beat and seeing where those gaps were really worked in their favour as they took that inside line. But unfortunately they have been called for a penalty, which means a forearm penalty, which means Rottweiler is the jammer that is scoring. Oh, a back block, thank you. Rottweiler is out there 2-on-1 with Bothwell and Thrill. Oh, Rogue Fun is actually the blocker there. Took a little hit to the inside line. And we've got a three wall of London skaters on track. And they are getting into a tripod formation and making sure that outside line is not inviting. But unfortunately, that didn't quite work. We've seen Rottweiler get through there for another score. And Wu-Tang Jam is now back on track and is pushing that white Canny Belters wall at the front. 2 to beat, taking a really big hit there from Drama Bomb. Who is just full torso on, right?
Yeah. Incredible work from Rottweiler. Just on both those previous passes, it's been main power that has kept them in, even though they were right on the outside and being pushed by a tripod. I mean, it's impressive.
Yeah, and we see Wu coming around for a scoring pass there. They're a very patient jammer, aren't they? As Rottweiler is being recycled back there by Bothwell. And that is some tiptoeing on that inside line, but not quite making the space that they were hoping to get. What's the score?
Well, we'll just wait for these points to be put back on. It is a few more going off for Canny Belters, a couple more going off for the Brawl Saints, but overall it looks like it's settled at Brawl Saints 103, Canny Belters 108, 5 points the difference now as we come in to the remaining 2/3 of this half of play. We said that both teams came fired up out of the half, and I think that's carried on to be the case. You can see they really, really do want this, and they're working incredibly hard towards it, both jammers and blockers.
And we've got Vita Parker up against Lucy, who's trying to take that inside line, but Ali Cat denies it with a big hit out there. Lucy pushing through in the middle of that wall as Vita Parker tries to take on that Canny Belter's wall of Drama Bomb, Cat, and who is we else we got there? Is it Darcy Tussie?
Canny Belters pick up lead though eventually.
Oh, I think it might be
after a struggle
Smash
through.
actually. I think that was Drama Bomb, Smash.
And Lucy calls it just on the outside there. You would have seen the hand signals going into the bench. A nice wobbly hand signal. I've not seen that one before, which is nice to see. Always interesting as a bench to watch how other benches do their jobs and what they choose to include and not include. And we've seen a number of times actually the jammers from Newcastle in particular look to the bench directly for advice. Was I in, was I not? Not just on whether to call it or not. So that level of communication, I mean, you've got to work on that. That's hard.
Yeah, that focus and attention from the bench. So valuable to skaters on track. So much going on around you. It's so helpful to have that external pair of eyes. And Dusty once again breaking through the middle of both walls to get lead jammer. And we see Spangled there. Is that Spangled? Yes. The helmet cover is off, but they are still the jammer. And Dusty is just doing some fast laps, picking up some points along the way. And Spangled is being recycled as Dusty comes in for another scoring point, who unfortunately collides with one of her own skaters.
Yes, looks like a bit of a knock there, so we might take a second just to make sure that our skaters are being careful and looked after. We talked earlier on about the jammers, particularly in this game, being quite fearless and throwing themselves into contact. Dusty, of course, uses that strength really to great effect. You saw that in that previous jam. Their ability to keep pushing, go through and erupt through whatever you put in front of them. Of course, the question now becomes, can you keep that going for a full 2 halves of play?
Yeah, and that fierceness has earned her 5 points, which puts us on another even score, 108 points to 108 points, with nearly 17 minutes left on the clock.
Another tied position. I mean, it doesn't get much better than this. Our production crew are taking photos. That's how exciting this game is as they're coming through. So, yeah, 108 plays 108. Not a lot of time left on the clock, but with them this close, it almost feels like, unless something strange happens, we're going to have a moment where just one happens to be ahead, and that's the final whistle as we're going through. So every single point, every single moment, every single jam is going to count now. And I think if I was in the bench's position on either side, not benches in the job, but the bench, everyone around, I'll be telling everyone, now's the time. You've got to dig deep, because with a game this close, tiny things are going to matter. And I know I said it a number of times that this game, isn't a game of feet and minutes. It's a game of seconds and inches and small distances. And never has that been more true than this game here today, where we're so close and we keep going back and forth.
And it's what you were saying at the beginning, actually. It's those quick leads, quick points, quick calls, and we're seeing that a lot. And the more that you can do that, it's probably the team that is going to win the game this game.
Right, I mean, you talk about getting excited about multipass jams earlier on, but ultimately you can put those points on in 4s. I'll take it. I'll take it every day of the week.
So here we've got Canalator up against Lucy. Lucy's choosing to do some defence before trying to take that inside line, which was beautifully cleared by Drama Bomb there. Absolutely smashing offence.
Offence horn.
And then right at the front, holding Canalator one-on-one. What fantastic blocking. And we're seeing Canalator is out and is chasing down at amazing speeds in order to force that call off and keep those points low. And I believe so low that it's just 1 for the Canny Belters.
Just the 1. But just the 1 is enough to put you ahead in this game.
Absolutely.
So 1 point puts them from 109 to 108 as we come into this one. And you peeps out there, you've seen me on camera. I am not a slim person. I'm happy with that, and I've got my thing. But I can't imagine the kind of energy these athletes have to keep this going at this intensity for this long. I mean, really an amazing display of the sport for those of you able to tune in today here on LRD TV.
And talking of speed, looking at the speed of those jammers' feet, they are both moving them in phenomenal rates. With that Spangled pushing that London wall out at the front, we've got Harm Assist, we've got Amazing Disgrace, and we've got Thrill House, I believe, locking Spangled down as Struggle takes a hit out at the front and is unfortunately being recycled back. But this is getting into the grind. We had really fast first half, but now we're starting to see some slower roller derby, which is not surprising, like you say. keeping up that speed is really hard.
And with only 1 point in it, and you talk about a grind, you're going to have to grind for every single point you earn.
And the other reason why we're probably seeing a grind is that we've got a 3-3 situation on track at the moment. So there is a penalty being sat by blockers from both teams, which means your dedicated offensive player isn't available because they've opted to do a 3 defence. And that is making it much harder for you as a jammer to get out. We do have a jammer out now, that is Spangled, who is coming round on a scoring pass. We've seen an attempt at a star pass, but unfortunately it looks like the pivot is not the jammer and has gone back to struggle. And Bothwell does not rest though, comes straight in on that offence and now takes the star pass legally as Spangled comes round for another scoring pass. And a gentle knockout there by Thrill House forces the call off.
And those star passes, like the positioning, I think people underestimate just how important the positioning of pivot in the moment of the pass is. It's no good passing to a pivot who's still tied up in the pack just as much as your jammer is. That's not going to help you, that's not going to get you out. You've got to position your pivot perfectly. And you know what, if that means you stop it and you say, now is not the right time, that's the right call to make. And then subsequently, when it is the right time, you come on back. We've now got a team timeout, having been called by, I want to say the Canny Belters, but I'm not 100% sure if I'm being completely honest. The score is now sitting at 118-110, so 10-point differential, which is more than we've seen for a lot of this game, actually, coming through this. That 10 points in advantage of Newcastle. This really has been a game of back and forth. We have seen a little run of Newcastle advantage over the last few. It felt like they felt just a little bit more in control.
That single point followed by that 9-point jam. And that 9-point jam, was very slow grinding at the beginning, and it was only actually, unfortunately, some penalties on London's side that meant that they didn't have the numbers on track to continue that grind, and that's how that jammer got out without the offensive help that we were talking about.
It makes such a difference, doesn't it? Even one, I mean, we said it before, but even one skate in the box makes such a difference. And you can see why sometimes teams compete and make calls just to keep 2 in the box, because the difference is, I mean, it's night and day.
Absolutely. I hear that rolling whistle for the end of the team timeout.
Teams are set on the line.
And it looks like we have Wu-Tang Jam up against Rock. A 4-3 start. Oh, no, it's a 4-4 start on the jam line. Is that right? Yeah. Rottweiler is looking for that inside line, but Nina is there and having that fight at the front of that pack, holding Rottweiler, but unfortunately is pulled out of play, and Rottweiler gets that lead. And there is a swift star pass to Diarrhea, who is coming round, going to keep that pressure on the Canny Belters to keep those points low, but they didn't call it. They've decided to run the jam, and Diarrhea gets through for a full 4 points, whilst Rottweiler is stuck in the pack still. Was it the right call?
So interestingly, you could see from where we were sitting, you could see that the bench and the mirror bench were indicating call, call, call. But then, of course, the moment changes, the impetus shifts, and now you do have to run it. Now you've got to make those points back that you just failed to kind of stop the opposing jammer from getting as they go through. And in a game this close, you don't really want to be taking those chances. And we've ended up 4-4 at the end of it. I think that's maybe the 4th or possibly 5th time we've seen Diarrhea take a star pass for London, and each time we've been able to get the job done, shut it down, call it, and this one, even holding it to effectively a 0-0 jam.
Yeah, it's fantastic pivoting. We've seen some really great star passes today. And we've seen a really quick lead there from Lucy. And we've got Beta Parker fighting at the front there. Anne is out with a lovely twirl. And Lucy comes in on a strong hit from the start. Amazing Disgrace trying to hold at the front, and the jam is called.
So you can just see in the backgrounds of your shot there the scores. They haven't updated yet with any points from that jam. It looks like the full 4 will go to Newcastle, meaning they'll be on 1-2-6 to the Brawl Saints 1-1-2. A differential of a number of points, somewhere between 100 and 0, which I will mathematically work out in a moment. 14. 14 is the difference now, 14 points, and we've still got just under 12 minutes to go. So that's the longest and most steady lead we've had for a while.
And we've got a nice grinding start there with Drama Bomb doing some offence for Spangled, but unfortunately Diarrhea spotted it and joined that wall, which gave Dusty the opportunity to get out on the inside line, but it's a no pass, no penalty, and Spangled has taken the helmet cover off and is looking for passing opportunity or space to get out. Dusty attempts at an apex jump, but is unfortunately foiled and is being recycled, as is Spangled. So the pack has all gone back to turn 4.
Yeah, Spangled's still on that initial when we talked about the grind. Oh boy, you've got to be feeling that right now.
We've just got one blocker on track at the moment though for Canny Belters, which Dusty passes. Oh, we have got two. We just had one doing offence and one doing defence. So we've got Cat and Pretty Skate Machine, I believe, on there. Drama Bomb is back on after sitting penalty and is all up in everyone's business, as they have been all game, to be honest. Dusty is there, taking her time on that 2-on-1, being sensible, not getting penalties, trying to avoid the run back, but Cat denies that opportunity.
And even though they were down to 2 blockers there at one point, the Canny Belters able to still be effective. That said, we're getting the final points just tallied now. It looks like... There we go, yes. The Jam ref coming across and clarifying. I think there will be another 4. I'm just waiting for... There it is, there it is. So Brawl Saints now on 120. Canny Belters 126. Just 6 points. They've closed it down to just 2 passes, the difference in this incredibly close game here, brought to you on LRD TV today.
And we have Rottweiler up against Wu-Tang Jam there, who is patiently trying to get out on the outside line, whilst we see lead jam called there for Rottweiler. Unfortunately, that is a power jam situation now. Rottweiler has a real opportunity to bring some points, but unfortunately gets a back block. So we're going to see a jammer switch in the penalty box.
It's like they had a conversation like, guys, it's close and it's exciting, let's keep it that way.
I think though, when you get to this moment in the game, you know, the anxiety and the adrenaline is so high, and it's so easy to make mistakes like running in and doing a back block. When you've got really experienced jammers who, you know, can easily avoid those, that adrenaline takes over, and you know, we've just seen it just there. Hester Wu is out and scoring. Not scoring, that was still an initial pass, I believe. But because of the switch, actually, it meant that Rottweiler didn't spend a full 30 seconds in the box, so was back out and scoring really quickly. So we see Rottweiler there, you know, going line to line, one-on-one. Got Rogue Fun and Bothwell out the front, holding Rottweiler. And Hester Wu, Tang Jam coming round, neck and neck. In fact, overtaking Rottweiler. We love a little bit of jammer on jammer, but they kept it at a minimum and come back in for more points.
Just about 15 seconds left on the jam.
That's a big sit down from Bothwell there on the inside line. It's taking Rottweiler some time to recover from that hit as Hester Wu exits the front of the pack and comes around for some more points. And there's full 2-minute jam because they both went to the box.
Oh my goodness, I'm exhausted just watching it. And I've got to say, what I really love to see is jammers that have that overall awareness for themselves as well. And as Wu-Tang Jam was coming around on that final pass, as they just got out, they looked back, they looked at the clock, and they looked at how many seconds they had left to get something done, saw there was only 7, and put a burst of speed on.
Yeah.
I mean, that was beautiful awareness, wonderful skill, great experience.
And it's just 7 points in it now with 7 minutes and 23 seconds to go. Canny Belters are in the lead, but it's still a close game, isn't it, Dangley?
It's so tight.
And that is a cut track, forearms, or a cut track.
Yes, and they were signalling both, and in the end they've settled on the cut.
They've settled on the cut. So there's a cut track there for Struggle, who is heading to the box, and Lucy has just been called lead. So much going on there that we missed most of it. Hopefully you saw it with your own eyes.
So it's 7 points differential, and Lucy cutting through the pack there straight around. This is a real opportunity now. If they can put 2, 3, 4 passes on even, I mean, this could lock the game away for them right now. So it really is pressure on the impressive London defence.
But Ali Cat takes that outside line and shuts it down. UK Daddy Bod on that inside line. Just holding Lucy. Actually saying, nope, you're not taking these high points scores. We're going to keep you here. And a penalty gets called on Ali Cat, but actually the rest of them are there to take cover and hold the line as Struggle is back on track and is fighting up against Drama Bomb there. And Lucy's gliding through on the inside line. The pack is speeding up quite a lot now as it's heading around turn 2, and Lucy is trying to take that inside line, which Daddy Bod had shut down. Shut down indeed. But a final 3 points being tacked on. That'll make it a total of 15 points in that jam, meaning the scoreline now 129 to the Ball Saints, 151. 5 minutes and 24 seconds showing on the clock. I mean, with so little time left, you've got to ask, you know, was that the one? Was that the one that locks in? Because if we're 0-4ing from now on in, we're not going to get any other change. London have got to go all out to get themselves those multi-passes, to maybe try and pull a penalty, something like that to make the difference now. Which is a difficult thing to do on a start line with only 2 blockers. We can see Spangled gets the lead there. And we've got Canalator fighting away at the back. And Bothwell and Disgrace just at it with the offence and switching back to defence there as quickly as they can, to make sure Spangled doesn't get through too quickly before they get Canalator out, which they really successfully did. And that forces the call before Canalator can score any points. That's right, it's calling it off now, and there's a team timeout being called by London. Earlier on, when we had a timeout, we talked a little bit about clock management. And for me, I think, I'm going to postulate, you never know what's going on eventually, because people want to break, but in this instance, I think we're seeing some clock management going on. London realise they've got a bit of a distance to come back. We can't have that clock ticking down those 30 seconds every time. As soon as the jam's over, we call it a timeout, we're going to stop that clock and go. Although, it looks like a gathering might mean we do have an official review actually being here. Yeah, it looks like the referees are gathering in the middle for an official review. Not a bad time to use it, especially if you think you've got something good to call it on. And we will get back to you if we can find out about what that official review is. But so far, this one has been an absolute humdinger back and forth. Really no distance between the teams for the vast majority of this game. And just now at the end, a little bit of a momentum shift towards Newcastle. Do you think that's fair? Yeah, absolutely. And I think that some of that's come from penalty struggles, and some of that's come from some fantastic offence from the Canny Belters, to be honest. An update on those scores with 155 to Canny Belters and 129 to Brawl Saints with 4 minutes and 31 seconds left to go. So, hand signalling with them. Yeah, I mean, it really is impressive that these teams are still able to go at the pace they've been going. You talked just in that last previous jam about they're speeding up the packs now, they're keeping them moving fast. I don't think we're going to see a letting up at all from either team all the way through right to the end. And that's what, I mean, for me, that's what makes me think, although they are down, and although there's very little time left in the half, I'm not counting London out. I think they can come back from this. They've just got to get a little bit of luck and then turn that luck into points. And that's where the skill and experience will come in. And I think both jam lineups have these powerful, nippy jammers that are able to punch holes and move quickly, right? Incredible, incredible. You're absolutely right. Like, we talk about double threats normally, meaning, you know, you can block and you can jam, but actually, I think about double, triple, quadruple threats in terms of styles of jamming. And if you can throw that out there, I mean, you're a weapon, right? Yeah. So we see Lucy on the jam line here, up against Dusty. And we are in a bit of a grind. Lucy trying to take that inside line, Daddy Bod shutting it down. Diarrhea coming to support Dusty with some offense, and that helps Dusty out to get lead jammer, which London, you know, absolutely want to be in control of these next few jams to be able to bring it back. But Lucy's helmet cover off and is looking to get out. One to beat, that was Nina. But London takes the 4 points, calls it, safe score.
I mean, absolutely, and also real great awareness from them. Clock's against you, you need to do it quick. Don't run it and run the chance of maybe getting a couple more afterwards. Call it, let's get another jam, let's keep going, let's keep rolling, let's keep coming back, so that we can edge away and just eat away slowly at that scoreline, that differential, which now sits at 22 points. So 1-3-3 to the Brawl Saints, 1-5-5 to the Canny Belters, and the clock is showing just under 3.5 minutes left to go.
We've got Wu-Tang Jam up there against Spangled. Again, Spangled is so quick out there, but doesn't quite get the lead. Wu, who is a very, considered jammer, gets that lead just by waiting and watching, actually thinking, is this the right time to go? They're both there neck and neck trying to get the scores, but Wu is through and scoring, whereas Spangled has been caught by that London wall. An amazing disgrace, Palm assist, and Thrill House shutting down those rotations and that tripod, which gives Hest Wu the opportunity to get round and score some more points before calling it off.
And just at the end there, I saw one of the OPRs coming in signalling a forearm. I think that might have gone, yes, Wu-Tang Jam has gone to the box, meaning this will be a power jam start to the Canny Belters. Before they went there, though, they managed to put on a 4-point differential, 8-4 on that previous jam. Brawl Saints 1-4-1, Canny Belters 1-5-9, and I heard the whistles of stoppage, but I didn't see. Oh, you can see on your screens a team timeout now. It looks like being called by Newcastle. Maybe just take a bit of a breather. I mean, in this kind of situation, if you've already killed out that 30 seconds, you're not going to get any extra time coming on that, so why not call it? You want a bit of a reset, and I think before, we were talking, when you last saw us, we were talking about the fact that the momentum was shifting towards Newcastle. Last 2 jams, 2 lead jams to London, maybe a bit of a shift across, and if I'm looking for any opportunity I can take, a timeout, maybe throw them off their rhythm a bit, maybe reclaim that for Newcastle as they're coming through, but still, quite the differential still, 1-4-1, 1-5-9. It's going to be tight.
It is going to be tight, and there's still everything to fight for. That is not an irretrievable score difference. And like you say, it locks in that distance, and it helps people to, it helps Canny Belters to feel more confident going into each jam. And it does mean that, the Brawl Saints are going to have to fight hard for it, but it's not impossible at this stage. It is still all fight for. Yeah,
absolutely, and we've seen a couple of times that power jams have gone either way. They've racked up 12-point, they've racked up 14-point, 16-point power jams. It could change with one power jam here. And of course, at the moment, it's set the other way. So it's set with Newcastle with the only jammer on the start line, with Lucy sent out to red.
And we've got a pretty light jam line here, actually, with only 3 blockers apiece. Lucy getting that opportunity to take this power jam. We have seen their Alley Cat is like glue to Lucy and is trying to shut that down. Lucy's probably going to take that inside line once again, as we've just seen. But that was quite a slow start for a power jam, actually. And Bothwell is back on track, so we do have a full 4 blockers now on for London. But a little shirt whip helped Lucy get on that inside line.
Lovely work from the Canny Belters blockers there, creating little opportunities, and Lucy able to score.
Yeah, and we see Lucy there trying to take the outside line and is successful. Wu is now back on track and is out on an initial pass. And Lucy coming back to the pack and is sails straight through that London wall for another 4 points. Which actually, so does Wu. Comes around, they're obviously trying to run it. They're obviously keeping that point differential low if they can. But it's not actually, it's working in London's favour because they are also getting round on those points too.
We've just hit 1 minute left in the period, 45 seconds left on the jam.
And when you've got a jammer like Lucy in stride, why would you call it?
Absolutely. So it looks like almost certainly this next jam will be the last jam of the game. Brawl Saints on 149, Canny Belters is on 176. So, I mean, is it physically possible? Maybe, but at this point, you're playing for the diff. And I know that London came into this one wanting that 1-1. That's what was predicted. They had a reasonable goal to go for that. So anything you can do to close that differential up, everything's still on the line. It's still a really important jam.
Yeah, and we have got Spangled versus Cannolator. The fast feet of both of these jammers, but looks like Cannolators were slightly faster. Although Cannolator
and
got
the period
called for a forearms, and so Spangled got the lead there.
The period clock has expired. That's why you're seeing some.
And they are just waiting.
They're just going to call it there, make sure that it's absolutely done, and it is done. Final scores, barring anything changing: 149 to the Brawl Saints, but just cheating it out in the last quarter of play, maybe even the last fifth of play. 176 points to the Canny Belters. Congratulations to them. They take the win here today, and there's the rolling whistle. We are done.
And it was that 17-point jam in the jam just before the last one, I think, that really solidified it. Like, before that we were saying that, there's a possibility something goes wrong, you bring it back, but there's no coming back after a 17-point to 8-point jam. The jam with a minute left to go.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, you do everything you can, and you throw everything you can out there on the track, but at the end of the day, that's how the sport plays out. And I mean, looking back on that game, incredible play from both teams.
Fantastic.
I mean, we saw everything you could want to see. We saw apex jumps, we saw star passes. So if you're just a fan of the sport, you've seen some exciting stuff. Not only that, but just from a technical point of view, both teams playing exceptionally well. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see when we're on to our next game coming up, which is Tiger Bay versus Brawling. Like, is that going to be the same? Are we going to see that closeness? Are we going to see that technicality? Are we going to see maybe something different? Are we going to try something innovative? We saw 3 walls, tripods, so very solid play, offense that was just textbook perfect, but just a little bit here, a little bit there. Is that what we're seeing in the next game, or are we going to see something different with our next level of play?
Yeah, absolutely, and there were quite different offensive styles, I felt, from each team. Like the London offense is go, 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 whereas actually Canny Belters took their time a little bit more and waited for those moments of opportunity and really swooped through and cleared those lanes, which we saw just time and time again, those lanes being taken, whereas actually we saw London blockers having to take a more kind of winding route through perhaps, and that maybe didn't work in their favour this time round.
But great performance from both teams. Incredible game to watch. Brilliant atmosphere here. I really hope you're feeling the same at home watching this, because it's been an incredibly exciting game. Thanks so much for joining us here on Twitch, on LRD TV. Just a reminder, the final scores were 149 to the Brawl Saints, 176 to the Canny Belters. We will be back in an amount of time, probably about half an hour to an hour or so, with the next game, which sees London Brawling taking on the Tiger Bay Brawlers.
Yeah, so I've been Spitting Bars.
And I've been Danglebits.
And thanks for having us.
The S1 Pro knee pad is built to last and perform, blending highly durable fabrics and materials into an innovative design with exceptional craftsmanship. We use a very tough, military-grade ballistic nylon for the outer shell material. We triple-stitched every seam to prevent blowouts and reinforced all of the straps with additional stitching. Our top straps are made with a high-retention elastic that minimizes excessive stretching and incorporates a length adjustment system to allow you to lengthen or shorten the top strap. The inner knee cup mold is streamlined and deep-fitting and features a 4-tiered foam system combining varying densities of foam with shock-dispersing foam to achieve both shock reduction and comfort on impact. The inner foam layer is a high-rebound memory foam which absorbs shock and molds to your knee on impact, stabilizing the knee, helping to prevent slippage. Our kneecap has a flat surface that supports stability on impact and is made with a high abrasion polycarbonate plastic for durability. The S1 Pro knee pad: stability, durability, functionality.
This is the totally redesigned Lifer visor helmet from S1. Featuring our patented fusion foam, this helmet has the impact protection you've come to expect from an S1 helmet and is both multiple impact and high impact certified. Our new custom visor is made with a high impact polycarbonate lens, which is optically correct and features our patented cover catcher, which allows for multiple covers to be worn with easy